Welcome to Captive Conversations. I am your host, Adam from Captive Wi-Fi. Join us as we dive into behind-the-scenes stories of hospitality leaders, exploring tech, operations, marketing through the eyes of the experts. Let's get the inside scoop together.
Episode 5. Really excited. Keep going. Keep more people coming in. More amazing guests coming up soon. Next week's going to be fun. Episode 5, Kitty Newman from Trapeze Media, who is a force to be reckoned with. Lots of amazing insights from her background, her route into hospitality. Really interesting story behind the name of Trapeze, which I won't tell you until you listen. Some awesome insights about media, marketing, digital marketing, Google spend, ad spend. Some really great snippets of genius in this one. I really think you're going to enjoy it. This is a really good one for me as well. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome. Episode 5, Captive Conversations. I won't do an intro because...
You just do it later.
Yeah, it's much easier because then I can talk about everything we talked about. And
Yeah.
But I will...
Do a summary.
Yes. I've got a little bit of AI stuff that can do it. But
Oh, yeah, great.
but I don't end up using it properly, so I end up blurbing for a bit in the beginning. But it's okay because people want to understand how it will come.
Hey, you
where
need
it
to
will
set it
come
up. Nice.
from. So, what I generally do is a theme. People like to hear the intro music, so I'm going to do a little bit of intro music because people who watch will be able to see. So I like to bop along. So feel free. I'm going to do a little bit of. Here we go. So we can do a little bit of intro.
1, 2, 3,
Quite like it.
4.
That's all you get.
What?
Sorry.
Is that?
Yeah, we start, and then we start it. Okay. Welcome, Kitty. From
Hello.
Trapeze. It's a Trapeze Media?
Trapeze Media, that's
Trapeze
it.
Media. I thought it was I like just Trapeze, but Trapeze Media is
What,
good
on
too.
its own?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll change it.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one too. Okay.
Well, no, I went Trapeze Media because it ties us in for a longevity. You know,
Okay.
thought about Trapeze social media for a bit at the early days and thought, nah, locks us in too tight.
Yeah.
Trapeze Media really
Well, media's
is,
everything, I
keeps
guess,
us
isn't
broad.
it? 'Cause
Yeah.
I guess it's everything and everything.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, you can keep Trapeze Media.
Thank you.
Okay, so the two questions that we have, at the end of the podcast, I'll ask you 2 questions. That will be passed on to the next person. It's our
Yeah.
little thing. The last one was, I think I haven't posted it yet because he's away. Amir from Chotamate. And he's like, oh, I'm going away. Have you got a good photo? No. So I was like, when you go away, get me a photo and send it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with a margarita by the beach.
Right. So I don't think he wants a margarita by the beach with his photo. So I'm still waiting. So his will come out after yours, but his questions, which I did send to you,
I got them.
amazing. Was question 1 was what emerging hospo technology trends will take precedence in the next few years?
Yeah. Now, these are big questions, right? So when you sent these to me, I was like, oh, my God. That's like, seems like one of the questions for the big boys. Do
You
you
could
know
go
what I
down
mean?
the rabbit hole, couldn't you?
Go down a rabbit hole, but I go
But you see it from the other side. So you're not an operator, right?
Yeah.
And you're not directly in that group of. You speak to obviously you work with operators, but I think your vision is from the other side, which
Yeah.
that's why I think that question is interesting.
And I am quite in the tech space in some ways. Like I'm very involved with Silicon Brighton, which is a tech group in Brighton. It's like a tech hub of hundreds and hundreds of tech developers. I mean, yeah.
Techie people.
Techie guys, but from the marketing perspective. So yeah, we do marketing for restaurants and tech supports us. And the weird thing is that the hospitality world is how we ended up taking a real bigger step into hospitality was because I thought, the tech side is a little behind
Yeah.
when you think about other sectors. So we've done a little bit of work with our own kind of technology that we need to like improve our performance for our clients. But more broadly, so answering that question, I think it's going to be like better access to analytics and reporting and mixed media reporting. And because so much is changing now around tracking and attribution and third-party cookie depreciation, etc.
Hold on.
There's
There
some
we go.
big words for you there.
Third-party cookie depreciation.
That's it. Cookie depreciation across the board, which has been coming for ages. I mean, that's top of my mind at the moment because we just run a few events all around.
Did you do some education on that, right?
We did, yeah. We had a few experts, data experts, come in and do a bit of a open forum Q&A on what's happening with cookies in the next few months. And it's not something that I'm seeing a huge trend of within the space. And so in terms of what's coming, I think there's a definite gap there for some really, really good reporting specifically for hospitality. I mean, we've got really nice, neat tracking solutions for restaurants, but I just think that there's a bigger piece
Massive.
For kind of how to pull in everything, right? Because you've got physical stuff, you've got online stuff, you've got FDs needing to know absolutely everything that's coming in and where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I still don't think that that's quite tight yet.
Yeah. I think there are some pretty cool, like on the financial side, there are some pretty cool tools out there. I'll drop Tenzo into the mix because I know them. Their tool's pretty good for that and Libra and everything else, but you're right about everything else. And also a lot of people, when you're in a casual dining environment that doesn't do bookings, doesn't know who the regulars are. So, but yeah, that's a good. I agree.
So I think that there's something interesting for some clever person to think of there.
So you right, she's going to write it down, and I'm going to build it.
No, exactly. Okay, right. Another new business for us to do.
Done.
But then stuff that's existing at the moment, I think, where we're having a lot of really nice wins is with new apps that have a neat idea, that have got some investment, that are just able to get people through the door. So we've done a lot of work with Appetite.
Okay.
And with Temper, who are a client of ours, and Appetite have just got a great customer base. They've got fans, and they can get people in through the door. It's really neat. It's all around kind of money behind the bar or behind the on food, and you turn up and you get your offer, you get your discount, you get your free meal, etc. Queues around the corner. Fatua Mano did one with them, and it just got great press coverage. So the kind of halo effect of getting all these people in and getting new customers in.
So is that giving people offers, or is that just how does the?
It's free food.
Oh, okay. To get PR and everything else.
Exactly, and they are just a really neat company. The kind of service that you get from them is fantastic.
And what's their demographic?
It's Gen Z,
okay.
I think. I mean, you should get them on to speak about it, but it's I think majority Gen Z. So it's not going to work for every single brand. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, Caprice, you should be getting the Ivy on there."
The original Ivy, yeah.
Yeah. Although I don't want to, speak for anybody.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Match those two. But yeah, I really rate what they're doing, and so something I think there's an opportunity in, and then something that's happening right now. Appetite, yeah.
Okay, what's the website?
Well, I think it's appetite.app.
Okay, I'll put it in the show notes so people can see. And then I'll do a little UTM link so they know it's from you. How about that?
Yeah.
Do you like that? I dropped a little UTM.
I love it. Give me that back. Give me that data.
Okay, and then the other one, which is quite broad, is how do you see hospitality tech in 10 years? Like, I guess one thing that you think that will really be something that's out there. It's a broad one.
Honestly, it's broad.
Yeah.
So the thing that I keep that comes up all the time is how Frankenstein tech is.
Yeah.
And there's just hundreds and hundreds of different plugins and groups, and it's so tough to integrate with different platforms and get everything speaking to each other, which for me is tough when I see the future of the online world being very much each brand having as much ownership and control over their own data and their own customers as possible.
Yes.
But when that's not made, when you're sort of held over a barrel in a lot of cases, it's very, very frustrating. And when businesses like the hospitality sector are pushed in and squeezed in so many other different ways, I find kind of philosophically the idea of the internet being this free space.
But it's not really, is it?
It isn't
no.
at all. And again, so in 10 years' time, what I would love to see
open.
It's more open and it gives much more control to restaurants. And especially when you look at smaller brands coming up, do we have to be so reliant on, the likes of Deliveroo, etc. But when that customer data, when that final touch point, when you can't see any of that is so limiting, that is a utopia that I don't know whether, if we're talking about dream 10 years, that's what I would love to be able to, I would love to see more of that.
At an event a while ago, Olivia Reed, who was at Sessions now, now at Market Halls, shout out to Olivia. We love Olivia. She made a really good point on the panel. And the comment was, I wish tech companies would just grow up, and in that she meant just open yourselves up. If someone wants to do this, do that. If someone wants to do this, do that. And we've had recent meetings on the tech side of our business, and they put everyone in one room. Which is really clever. So you have POS, you have tech, you have stock control, reporting, everyone together, and then they can all like have a chat about actually the best practice.
Great.
Which doesn't always happen. I think for smaller brands, you probably won't have that. This is a bigger brand, so but you're right. I wish there was an open thing for everyone.
Yeah, and because, well, just for the viewers that don't know me, I'm not a technical person. I'm a marketer through and through. So I stumble over the kind of language, but with developers that I have worked with, the way that they talk about the benefits of AI in terms of speed of working on new ideas, I do think that smaller brands are actually able to, in 10 years' time, look how far we've come in such a short amount of time, to be able to do much more interesting things that they used to be much more reliant on the big players for.
I think that it will be sooner than 10, I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
We had Red Cat on here. He was number 2. And they're awesome. They're Australian company, and I'll tee into that because we'll talk about these things, Tim Tams, in a bit. But their platform's pretty awesome because it does everything. But it's a really big platform that does a lot. And you talk about customer data. Not many people here have done the whole Uber Direct or Just Eat Direct, where they own the data and the order or Google or Order by Google, which is in I think about 5 or 6 other countries. But it's not here. Would you imagine having that order by Google? You order by Google, go straight into till system, and then delivery goes out by a delivery partner. You own that data.
That's what I've been thinking of for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's coming over here.
It's already in America. It's already in Australia. It's slow release here. It's like a medication. It's in slow release. But it's. I think it's all about the platforms to plug into it. I don't think there's enough platforms here, except for like maybe Red Cat that do it. But that's quite nice.
That's very exciting.
So I'll introduce you to Red Cat.
Oh my gosh,
so you can
please.
have a chat.
Yeah.
But on that note, we have some Tim Tams here. You can see people who
Sorry,
are listening.
I ate half of them. There was
there was
much
17
for the
here,
plate.
but she got a bit hungry. No, so this is. I mean, you can see on the camera. There you go. The GoPro's now decided to turn off, but we have the main camera, which is fine. The main question we've been having here, and Scott Turner preferred the penguins over the the Tim Tams over the penguins. I'm a penguin fan because I grew up eating penguins. You've had a couple. What is your opinion?
I actually love the way you say penguin.
Penguin.
No, I don't mean. It's so sweet, penguin.
Is it penguin?
No,
or is it penguin?
I don't know what it is officially, but the way you're saying penguin right now is bringing me so much joy. And I don't know if you know that about yourself.
I don't.
You have a very talented way of saying the word penguin.
Penguin.
No, you're saying it
You're
different.
making me sound like there was a what's his name? The guy that was in Marvel. He played Doctor Strange. Remember the actor? He can't say penguin. He calls it penguin.
A penguin.
He can't say it. It's penguin. Penguin. He did a National Geographic video thing, and he's in the background going, "As you can see, the penguin is walking down." So maybe I say it a bit like him. So yeah.
No, well, and so what's the?
Yeah, what's the?
Well, I think I've only eaten 2 Tim Tams.
But you've had the caramel. I was told that the salted caramel is best.
Where are the penguins at?
I can't find the penguins anywhere.
Proper controlled test bed.
This isn't a controlled test. This is using from memory.
I can tell you that the Tim Tam is crispy, crunchy, thicker middle.
Yeah.
And so it's got all of the aspects of a penguin biscuit that I know and love, kind of on steroids.
On steroids.
Yeah, but I can't tell you which one I prefer because I've got to eat that penguin next
episode.
I'm going to do that at home. When I leave here, I'm going to eat another penguin. I'm going to eat a penguin. I'm going to tell you what
I want
my
you to record on video, and I'm going to
because,
insert it in.
I'm very scientific in this. It's very important that we get this right.
It is important.
Now, I've never had a caramel penguin, so that obviously gives a point up for the Tim Tam.
Okay.
And you just have to stand by. Because I haven't eaten a penguin biscuit for time.
Yeah.
And I think really what is going to happen is a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's going to bring back like packed lunches. It's going to bring back feelings of like mum would only let me have like one penguin in my packed lunch. So I have to like sneak in and get another one.
Right.
And the second
the
one is
history
just going
behind
to be.
it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so
we're going to digress because
the
I've been
Tim
talking about
Tam
Tim
may
Tams and
fail
Penguin.
because of the nostalgia.
That's okay, because if you send me the video, feel free to record it on your phone. We'll insert it into this piece.
That's it.
That's all good. Okay. Okay. So to our standard questions, which we give to everyone, and the first question is best burger.
Yeah, this is another memory lane. So I was like, what's best burger?
Oh, memory lanes. It's going to be old school burgers.
Well, I had it a while ago.
Okay.
It still exists. And I love a burger. But this was like none other I've ever had in my entire life. And I don't think it's for everyone. It was the Lotus Biscoff Burger from Filthy Buns.
Okay.
In Dalston. Now, it had Lotus Biscoff spread.
Yeah.
It was a meaty burger. They
Yeah.
do as
Yeah, yeah.
vegan. Actually, I had the vegan one. I had the vegan burger because it was with my partner. We shared it because we did not think we could possibly eat this whole burger.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could have had two. It was absolutely.
And it was just a normal bun, or was it one of those
crazy.
was it like those like buns that do as donuts?
I think it was a normal bun, but it had biscuits in the top. It had Biscoff spread. It was a burger. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. But
Was it play on senses, or
it was
it
amazing.
Was it?
It was amazing. But I really love a sweet. I've got a massive sweet tooth. I love sweet and savoury together.
Yeah,
and I love
I
a
can see that.
crazy thing. It was just insane. I loved it.
So there was a place down the road from our office called Bobo Socials. I don't think it's open anymore. And they did a peanut butter burger,
Okay. Yeah.
which gave you a little bit of sweet and savoury. It's the first time I've ever had something like that. It was like a lather of peanut butter on the burger.
Yeah. Come on.
So it's I get it.
Yeah.
I get
I
it.
mean,
I need to. Okay, you got to try it. I think something different. But my brain is
Obviously,
hurting.
that is going to scramble a few people's minds.
Yeah.
Thinking about what are you talking about? Wait,
Yeah.
what? That's absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna research.
But I rate it, and I
Okay.
checked their Instagram. I think they still do it.
Amazing. Best restaurant. This is tricky because you work with a few.
Yeah, it is hard, isn't it? But I actually love Burnt Orange in Brighton. Have you been to
Okay.
Burnt Orange?
No.
It
I've been to Brighton a few
nice.
times. In fact, I was the one getting Shelter Hall built during COVID.
Oh,
yeah, that was
were
me,
you?
holding my breath.
Oh, well, you were the talk of the absolute town. I was living in Brighton at the time. We could not wait.
It's amazing, that space, isn't
It
it?
is amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, Shelter Hall is it's a game
Oh, I
changer.
didn't know you were working on that. Oh, yeah, I love Shelter
That was
Hall.
it was weird because loads of people walking outside, and
Yeah.
it was so nice to come. I drove up, came down, and it was the first iteration of them was cob. It was like a MDF shelters inside, and they separated the chairs behind each other, and they were one of the first food halls to do the online ordering because they had to, because restrictions. So I think that was really clever. And where they are now, they own their own platform, and they've come a long way. So, but yeah, that place is amazing. And then I think Brighton's really come a long way in the last like 5-6 years, right? It's completely changed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Brighton.
Yes.
I grew up there. I would say that it's always had a great scene. It is just a brilliant place to be.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a bit of time where it went a bit, had a little bit of a moment of pause. But honestly, the restaurants down there are so good.
Yeah.
You are hard pushed to like fill your, you need to be there all the time. I miss it so much.
It's a bit like, not like London, but it's quite compact as well. So you've got restaurant.
Yeah, and you've got so much. There's just so many options, and also because I go out with a vegan, there are so many great vegan places.
Yeah,
and you don't, I mean, I'm a meat eater, but there's
You
so
don't have a
much
challenge.
flavour, so many options. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And Burnt Orange is really, really nice. It's not been around for that long. The food's fantastic. I've been there a few times, and the food is always great. Everybody else always tells me that they have a great time there. The cocktails are delicious. The setting is gorgeous. The interiors are lovely.
What sort of food is it?
It's all cooked on coals. It's sort of sharing plates.
Temperish.
It is gorgeous. Yeah. And again, their vegan menu is really, really good.
Okay. Best hotel.
Okay. So I was actually going to say the Marriott Hotel in Krakow, but it seems a bit basic, bitch.
I was expecting you to say something. If you want to be
But I've
basic,
got
the
I've
Travel
got a
Lodge in Croydon was amazing.
I know. But we had the best time at this hotel. They just treated us so well. And I really messed up on the booking, and we didn't have the next day booked, and we were in bed. And we're like, oh my God, why are they knocking on the door? I was like, oh, well, we shouldn't be here. We even booked the room. They were so nice, and the food was great. It was just like, and it was such great value.
Yeah.
But a cooler answer, and actually, you know, I still stand by it just as much. We just stayed at the artist residency in Brighton.
That sounds amazing.
It was gorgeous. It was stunning. The interiors were lovely. It was kind of like your own nice apartment, you know, decorated beautifully, view of the sea, right by the sea.
Yeah.
It was stunning. But yeah, we don't often stay in a hotel in Brighton. I usually stay at my dad's, but
when you have the opportunity.
Yeah. So yeah, artist residency in Brighton was really nice.
Fantastic.
Oh, and they've got a really cool like speakeasy bar, cocktails.
Talking about basic, my youngest does dance, right? So it's dance comps, and my wife I have some Hilton Honors left, so normally she'd go grab the Hilton Honors and get like a free whatever. I have very little left. And she went to, I don't even know where it was recently. I was like Swindon or something for a show. It was a long drive. Couldn't find, and the nearest one was a Premier Inn. So she sort of went, but I've had a phone call from the room. LEDs around the back. They sell the mattresses. You can buy the mattresses. She emailed them like a 9-paragraph email. It was the best sleep I've ever had in my life.
Oh, wow.
She said it was amazing. The staff were lovely. And I was a bit shocked, to be fair. But the room was like, I think it was brand new, fairly new. But for a Premier Inn, like a, you know.
Oh, I mean, they've been around for a while for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But that's obviously not my favourite hotel.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Best hospitality experience.
So we went recently to the Ridgeview Wine Estate, the vineyard.
Ooh.
And now, we're not always going off to a load of vineyards.
This sounds interesting. Hotels, vineyards. This is the life.
You are asking well, hotels.
Yes.
But no, it was a special occasion, and the team there could not have been more lovely. They could not have been more lovely. You know, there were so many people to serve. We felt so special. We were sort of, you know, giddy because it's a sweet, special treat.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have the people that you are being looked after by appreciating that this is also a nice special treat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel that you're
Forced.
It wasn't forced. It was genuinely, and it was more than one person. It was a great culture. You could just tell these people were really happy to be there. Just wanted to. It was just lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, it did help that it was an absolutely stunning day.
Yeah.
And it is
So
stunning
did you go through
surroundings.
all the vineyards and taste all the wine?
Well, we've done that before, but actually my partner did a proposal.
Oh.
I know.
Amazing.
And we had like a terrace. They put a little seat up on the terrace. They're like, we don't use the terrace.
Done well.
So you can just have this space. They put flowers there. They went the extra mile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they gave us a little, you know, it was special. Obviously, there's opportunity for the team to make that special for us. But they didn't have to, you know, there's a line as well, isn't there? Sometimes people aren't quite that willing to kind of give that joy, and they really were. And so I think some people are
born to work in hospitality, and some people aren't born to work in hospitality. So and I think if you, in a venue like that, you would want to have the right people to sort of love the venue, because I guess it's all about showing the love of the venue when you're going. So I think that sounds amazing. But congratulations. When was that?
Thank you. Well, that was at the weekend.
That was this weekend?
Just gone, yeah.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thanks. I proposed to her at Christmas.
Oh.
And so she got me back.
Without you knowing?
Yeah.
After a glass of wine?
I know.
That's amazing.
Oh, no. Don't be sick listening, guys, honestly.
Yeah, don't turn off now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, that's really exciting.
I know, it's exciting. Yeah.
So, okay, and then we touched on this earlier, but best piece of tech.
Yeah, so I actually wrote the cat food timer tray.
That is amazing. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, does the
I
best
should change the
tech have
question
to
to
be
best hospitality tech, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, well, look, I'll get there for you. But let's just take a minute for the cat food timer tray. If you're talking hospitality, if you're talking good service, reliable, it's old school, it's great, you know. Anyway, we'll move on from that. That was the first thing that came to mind.
Sorry, I snorted. I don't normally.
Yeah. And again, like, you know, I'm not operations. We're marketing. So we are always trying to look for what makes us, you know, what gives us the most kind of visibility on what we're delivering. But from what I see in venue, more and more, that I think is a really great thing is tip jar.
Yeah.
I just see it. I'm like, this is great. The UX is great. It's easy. I'm thinking about tipping more. It's present.
Yeah.
It's making me it makes people think
Visibility.
about, the visibility of it. And I just think that they're doing a really great job. And I think, so that's the...
Yeah. Their tech is very clever. There are some other platforms out there that do the same.
Sure.
But it is that I think the whole concept of that gives, rather than that whole, on the credit card machine, do you want to tip yes or no? When you've got an integration to a platform, you sort of see it. I think most people just press no. I mean, not me, because I love hospitality. I'm the sort of guy when you go out for dinner and your mates just leave and go, there was service included, and I'm like, but the waiter was amazing.
Yeah.
So I go give the waiter a tip.
Yeah.
Rather than the serve. If it's a good experience, I'm very much like put it or I'll just hide the cash into the thingy. Do you know what I mean? I just it's weird. People who work in hospitality understand. The people who don't are a bit like, why are you doing it?
Yeah, but I think that's what's good about seeing that present.
Yeah.
That presence
I agree.
everywhere is that, we all need reminding. I mean, this is what marketing is. It's like sometimes it's just kind of getting out there as much as you can.
Yeah.
And the message there is, that's one of education to be done. And actually, I think they are doing a good job on that. I think it is doing that education and seeing it not just in hospitality venues, but like it's in a yoga studio that I go to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they use tip jar. And so I think that message is strong for the sector. And so even, it's a good piece of tech and it's good UX and it's easy for the customer. And I don't know about how it is the back end, but I think it's very good. I think they've got a very good team.
Yeah, they do.
But also it's doing something for the sector and for the people that work in it. And so it's got loads of good things going on, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It helps with legislation and everything else that's changed.
Exactly.
Quick favour here. I'm just taking a quick break on the podcast just to say I would really appreciate if you can click the like or subscribe button. That helps us grow. We're very new and I would really appreciate it. And on with the show.
Roll all the way back about how it happened, why, who pushed you in that route. No, just the gradual move into digital slash marketing slash media, because it's all mixed bag, right? But where did it start? How did it become? Oh, there's sorry. Yeah.
Well, why did I set the business up?
No, how did you get into the industry? Not hospitality generally. We'll come to that in a second. But like, where did the media thing come? Were you doing something else and going this, or was it always that route in?
Well, I would put it back to. This always sounds. I've said this so many times, and I'm never even sure because it lands differently for other people. Basically, I worked in a call center, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I've always loved kind of just talking to people and chatting to people and like basically figuring out what's their problem more easily than some other people in the call center would, and then find a good solution. Obviously, you're selling something to them at the same time, which is like, one way or the other. But I just worked in a call center. I didn't go to uni, and then I made enough money to move to London while all my mates were at uni.
Yeah.
And got a job for an affiliate site. So started understanding about performance marketing, understanding tracking, reporting, email marketing. And this was when I was like, not 20 yet. So like 19, 20.
Oh, nice. So that's like early on getting
it's about
hands-on for how that platform, because those affiliate marketing platforms are really powerful with what they can track.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was about 16 years ago because, you can do your own maths there. But
It's last year.
But believe it or not, guys, I've been in this for a while, and actually really, really grateful that I took that route because I did well at it, but partly because of sales, partly because of an interest in online and seeing that this was like a place for me to be. So I then went and worked for an affiliate network, and so really understand tracking.
Yeah.
Because it's bread and butter. It's how they get paid. And so I was an account manager. So it was always looking at how we optimize for conversions. How do we actually generate sales? etc. So it's been drilled into me that performance is like crucial.
Yeah.
So then when I moved from there and went and worked at a social media agency, we were managing paid media for the likes of Pathé Film. So I managed the team that delivered the award-winning campaign for Pathé Film's Suffragette.
Yeah.
So Kerry Mulligan.
Awesome. That's a good
Meryl
experience.
Streep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. It was always I was kind of brought in to be like, right, well, how do we generate sales?
Yeah.
We did loads of stuff with Thomas Cook back in the day as well, and I worked there for a year before realizing like I think maybe I should just try and do this on my own.
Yeah.
See how it goes, if I can do it any better, and I went away for a few months. Went to Japan
As you do.
and Morocco as a
Okay.
combo. Which
Japan and Morocco.
yeah, in one little 3-month trip, which is sort of weird. It's because actually my friends, I was doing a bit of circus stuff. Right?
Circus stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So Trapeze media
Oh,
comes
shut up.
from circus.
Okay, what circus stuff? This is interesting now. What circus? I didn't do the further deep dive, but
Well, I was doing some aerial, so that's like trapeze
Yeah.
and things like this. And
my eldest does gymnastics, so I'm very aware. Yeah.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, there's a circus festival happening this weekend. You could take your daughter to.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Anyway, friends of mine who went to Morocco every year, who were in the circus, invited me out to train. So I spent 2 months on the beach. Basically, I ran away to join the circus. I spent 2 months on a beach in Morocco with my friends, living in a tent, training, doing aerial, and teaching myself to handstand. So I couldn't handstand at all at this point. And then a few years later, I was good enough to like run workshops. So I used to run handstand workshops in Brixton. And
Oh my god, this is amazing.
yeah, I know, it was really fun. So while I was away out there, a friend of mine offered me some work managing the socials for his ice cream parlour in Camden.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember them? Marine Ice. Marine
Oh my god,
Ices?
yes. They were the biggest freaking footprint ice cream store you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah, they
like
were.
a ship.
They
It
were
was-
fantastic.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So I
Best ice cream.
the best ice cream.
Mm.
So I worked with them. They basically paid me enough to pay my rent, and I thought, well, that's good enough for me. I'm just going to go for it. I'll figure the rest out. I'll eat noodles, 20p noodles. Do you remember those 20p
Yeah,
noodles?
yeah.
I'm sure they still exist. Luckily, I don't. I know I am a man of the people, but I don't know about how much a bag of cheap noodles costs now. It's probably more than 20p.
Yes. Unless you go to Chinatown and go to the little man down the
Yeah,
side. Apparently,
that's
his noodles are meant to be amazing.
Yes, exactly. But I thought, well, I'll just feed myself on 20p noodles if I have to, and at least
So
my
that was
rent's
your
paid.
first stint into hospitality.
That's it. Yeah, and that was 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
It just snowballed from there. So then I started working with Mark Hicks. So I worked with Mark Hicks on.
I love their one in.
Tramshed.
I used to love their one in Wardour Street, not Wardour Street,
Yeah.
Brewer Street.
Okay.
It was Brewer. I think it was Brewer Street. Yeah, it was on Brewer
terrible
Street
with
in
streets,
Soho.
honestly.
The one in Soho. I
Yeah.
loved that one. That was awesome. And then I went to the one in the city that's not there anymore. I don't think, but
No,
that was
I'm
all
not sure.
really good experience.
Yeah. And we just worked with nice bigger names all the time, CSEs in the early days, and it's all snowballed from there. So it started off as just social media management and content creation, and because of the performance side of what is my core,
Yeah.
I had to make this work for clients. And to be honest, and it still comes to us all the time around social media and the returns. What does social bring in? Okay, influencers come in. What does
Where's
it bring
my
in?
report?
Yeah, and it's a constant thing. And it's like, hey, I get sort of bored because it's like, yeah, well, could we just look at, social's important for these elements. And then let's look at how we get people in addition to that. And, it frustrates me, that question, because it's complicated and it takes effort and work, but it does work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we couple that with paid social so that we can look at driving actual tangible results. Then COVID. And then this is when I realised how little restaurants could see of what their paid advertising
as in
was
visibility
generating.
wise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And that's also when I stopped doing so much of the circus because everything shut down. I was about to run my own circus show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in at Waterloo, there's a farm. Not many people know this. There's
I
a
had
farm.
no idea there was
at
a farm in Waterloo.
There's a beautiful
So you can go for a beer at
barn.
Brewdog and then go down to the farm.
Yes.
Okay.
It's stunning. The barn has won loads of architectural awards, And I called them one day. I was like, hey, I really want to find somewhere to train Ariel. Can I use your barn? They're like, well, funnily enough, we really need some volunteers to clean out the pigs and feed the chickens.
Done.
If you were up for volunteering, you could use the space. So we did that for a couple of years, and then we were going to put on a huge circus show at the barn. And it was going to be amazing, honestly. I won't tell you too much about it because it makes me sad, but we couldn't do it. And then I just put all my energy into the business, and that's been really beneficial as well. But unfortunately, the circus has fallen by the wayside slightly, which is a shame.
That's so cool. That's a really why do you okay? Tip takeaway homework on your website. Yeah, you need to put that in there.
Yeah,
100%. That's so cool. Like when people are looking at your bio, blah 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 blah. What, the circus?
Yeah.
It also gives you different skills as well, right?
Yeah.
As in, like, dealing with challenging situations. I don't mean, like, as in when you're doing backflips in front of customers.
Yeah, riding a giant snail. Doing a headstand on a giant snail and hula hooping around my foot.
Yeah.
That's a really good skill for digital marketing. I should put that photo on the website.
That would be awesome. Till now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see that giant snail at in Great Yarmouth this weekend, actually. She's called Sybil. That's where I'm going up to see Sybil the snail again.
The giant real life type. Okay.
Yeah.
Sybil the snail. In the show notes. I will put it in the show notes. Sybil the snail. Okay. This has gone left field. This has gone really left, but I'm enjoying it. This is great. I love it when it does this sort of stuff. Okay. So generically, we've sort of touched on a bit about this, but I've put in here over your nearly 2 decades, because you shouldn't use years.
Oh,
I've
really?
always told that it's either a decade or 2, or nearly 2 decades, because then it shows the value of what you are. So when you say, I've been doing this for like 15 years, people are like, well, 15, okay. If you say 2 decades, it actually sounds a bit more...
It's got more gravitas.
It's got more oomph. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been in hospitality tech for over 2 decades, and one of my sales guys, when he did a meeting the other day with this hospitality brand, and he goes, "This is Adam. He's been in the hospitality industry for over 3 decades." I was like, No. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Anyway, so how have you seen the marketing tools evolve in the hospitality industry? I think we've touched a little bit about this, so you can probably do a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I think there's huge advancements in CRM.
Massive.
Yeah. I mean, I know the guys at Airship very well. I know Vic at Datahawks very well. Both those companies are doing really, really great stuff when it comes to that customer retention and understanding what you're bringing in, and also making sure that your message is appropriate to who you're communicating to. So that's a huge thing, I think. I really love the way that loyalty apps have been evolving, but I think that they are like frustratingly... Loyalty apps are this kind of space that I'm always scratching my head over.
I don't like apps. I prefer the wallet thing.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. I mean, the thing is, I love the Bowverse app.
Yeah, but that's very different though, because I think they spend a lot of time.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But even I'm like, well, actually, it's not now. I've got my new phone actually, but it's like, it's deleted itself because I haven't used it.
That's a really good point. All these apps that you use, if you go to a venue and you've not been there and you've not used the app, would you really press a button to re-download it?
Well, I mean, I would with Bow for sure. Yeah. But it's that reminder. It's like, okay, but if it sits dormant, then what job is it doing bringing you in? And I'm also not slagging Bow. I absolutely love that app. I'm just talking generally. Maybe that's another opportunity. I've been scratching my head around how do we actually get people to really,
you were about to
really
say as a
engage?
marketer, weren't you? You were about to say
that. As a consumer.
As a consumer.
Because I'm so like absolutely loyal and like I love where I love, and I've got my cards, I've got my apps,
and delight
I've got them all.
Is what I like. I like the surprise. You're not expecting it, and then boom, it's there.
Yeah. That
I really like. I think the Vic's doing a great job. I'll put the Airship and Datahawks in the show notes so people can see. I think Vic's doing a great job. We've got one of clients that use her. Her brain is crazy, and she speaks faster than me. So you should see us two speaking together. It's very funny. But yeah, it's great. You're absolutely right. I think one of the things that she told, I listened to her on a podcast a little while ago, and I think she does. for one of the brands she works with, they send 22 emails a month for one brand.
Yeah, great.
And that's properly segmented. I mean, I speak to other people like that. And then Chris said the other day he was at a gaucho for Patronics.
Yeah.
And then they asked everyone to put their hands up. Who sends one email a month? All the big brands, like huge brands. Me. I send one email a month to everyone. And it just shines a light, right? But then how do you get that segmentation? Which is also another challenge.
Well, yeah, that is the challenge. But I mean, it's absolutely where everyone's heads needs to be at.
Yeah.
Because what you need to be focused on is earned consent now.
Yes.
You need to be focused on what you're doing is interesting and that somebody wants to give you their data. And if they want to give you their data, make the process of giving that data as useful to you as possible. And that's it. I mean, it's simple. And I think you also have to shake off this like anxiety around numbers. We all need as big a number as possible.
Yeah.
But if you just got a big number that no one's coming in, or you've got such a big number, you send out a blanket email to everybody that only like
the open rate is going to be tiny,
%.
right?
Yeah. Then what's the use? So for me, it's about making that really smart and just taking a little bit of time to make it attractive. So it's your copy, it's understanding your customers, all the different groups of them.
But again, if you think about it, if you're getting your date of birth from the Wi-Fi, that thing there, from like one of our clients, for example, or you getting the date of birth from the Res platform, you can already segment that without even thinking about it, right? You've got age ranges, so you're not going to send a party, come to this bar of ours to the older generation. So theoretically, off the bat right now, everyone listening can go in and go, actually, hold on, if I go there, I've got millennials here, I've got boomers here, I've got all the different segments. You can immediately start doing it without real segment, like without the individual segmentation. It's an interesting point.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think the thing that becomes, I don't know where people end up not doing that, but I think it is time.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of like you can feel it, can't you? When we're talking about it now, I'm just because I put myself in the place. It's like, oh God, it's really like on top of everything else. But I think it is. I mean, Vic's stats on what money's available. I mean, we do email marketing and segmentation and look at that as well, but not at the same sort of scale that Vic's working to. And it is just easy money it's money on the floor.
Yeah.
And you've got to be available. And I think the other thing is, as well as, don't just if someone's going to unsubscribe, try and find out, genuinely find out a bit more. So I saw a really good process with actually a jewelry brand that I've taken on board as part of what we're going to do. I went to unsubscribe because I was getting quite a lot of emails, which is also another niggle of that. How many emails do you send? One a month? Yeah, well, I don't want to annoy people. Okay, well, just find out how much they want to be, how interested they are. And actually on the unsubscribe, it's like, okay, what do you want to know about? And how
rather than just say you've been unsubscribed, it
gave me an option
question form. Nice.
Yeah, because I like that brand.
Yeah.
I've given them my email address at some point. You've got to remember, people are giving you their email address because they want to know from you. At some point, they like your brand and want to know. If you piss them off, then yeah.
That's really interesting.
But try and get them back and say, how often do you want to hear from us? Once a month?
Yeah.
Great. We'll put you in the once a month bucket. You only want to know about vegan products? Great. We'll put you in the vegan once a month.
If you are available on Wednesdays or Fridays at 6 p.m. our time, there's a really cool group on LinkedIn called Digital Hospitality. It's a bunch of US people, a bunch of English people, trying to get more people to it. It's a really cool group of people that will help each other in tech and restaurants and hospitality. So if you want to find it, pop over to Cali Barbecue Media. I know it sounds weird. On LinkedIn, Wednesdays and Fridays, 6 p.m. Bit of a weird time, but obviously that's like earlier in the US. So that's my little segue into that one.
Nice.
You should join. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I will.
Then let's move on to client impact. So something that happened with a project you did that was sort of either or rewarding or had an amazing impact, like something that happened, the project you built or did.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got a load of really nice case studies on the site, but we've been working with various eateries. Mm-hmm. So they're a big group. They run, they've got Nocci, Tavolino, Copper Club, And we were brought on because we'd worked with Lindsay before when she was at Dirty Bones, and we'd done a really good job for Dirty Bones. And she brought us over to various eateries to look after their Google ads. So this is something we'd had a huge success with Dirty Bones, and actually where we'd started to really fine tune the deliverables, the reporting. What can we actually, demonstrate and show in terms of tracking? And with various eateries, we have been able to reduce their cost per acquisition and increase bookings across the sites that we're looking after in terms of Google ads. They've been over the moon with the success.
And the cost price has got the cost, your spending has gone down, but the bookings have gone up.
That's it.
Okay, so dumbing it down for everyone else, but that's fantastic.
That is
because often people just go straight on, right, and spend. I was going to say I have a client I'm not going to mention who spent a lot of money on Meta, loads of money.
Yeah.
And they called me and I've been given the report. It looks amazing. Like the report looks amazing, but I've looked at my like-for-like sales, and over the last 3 months, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
So it's very much a marketer who's bamboozling people with pretty reports, spending all this money, but there was no change. I think within 4 or 5 months there was no change.
Yeah.
But the ad spend, it wasn't strategic like what you do and what you were saying, because realistically it should be going down and then organic bookers coming up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's really key for us to work as closely with operations as possible and understand what's actually happening on the floor.
Yeah.
Now that's not always possible, but we work really, really closely with Steve at various eateries to know what's happening every month. What was happening with bookings at these venues?
Yeah.
What's working? What's actually really coming in at the other side?
So you're speaking to marketing and operations.
Yeah.
Which not many media people do. They just go straight with marketing and then leave with them. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's one of our slides in our deck, which is we believe that we've got to work much more collaboratively with that view, because it's all about what happens on the floor.
Yeah.
And honestly, my
the manager in GM has visibility of exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And marketing will see the stats and maybe they will turn up, but ops have a huge impact on what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's a pretty neat case study, and just exactly what we kind of want to see. So that's
awesome.
great.
I like that. To be fair, it goes on to the next thing I mentioned about ad spend, that everyone, there's a few things actually, but lots of businesses have been burnt, as I mentioned just now. What's your advice on businesses? Okay, this is the challenge. So we work with loads of restaurants, loads of businesses. Not everyone has the opportunity to have someone to pay for someone.
Yeah.
If someone was just starting before they were like, right, okay, I haven't got time for this, because lots of restaurants don't have time.
Yeah.
If someone has the time to do it, what was the first piece of advice you have, other than calling you, of course, and advice how not to get burned? Because agencies, you'll go on Google and they'll do a search and there'll be this pop-up agency and they think it's amazing, but they don't understand the industry.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. 1, what advice would you do if someone was starting to do it themselves? And 2, how to not get burnt?
So
Could call you.
the first thing I would say is why do you want to spend money on your ads? Is it because you're not getting enough customers through the door? In which case, don't spend more money.
Yeah.
You've got to make your business work, spend money out of your profits, make sure that your business is working before you spend money on promoting your business. So we get a lot of people come to us at the point of panic and at the point of desperation. And actually it can be a good time to speak to, definitely work with freelancers, bring people in. You've got to do marketing, but you've got to keep a real tight handle on those costs. And there is really no point in even trying to get busy if you're not actually making that business work. So that would be the first thing I'd sort of suggest looking at.
Fix your challenges.
Yeah. But then say, the business is working and it's just, it's off season and you want to kind of get a few people in out of off season.
All the early time, when my kids were younger, my wife called it I think wicked hour. When it was just before bed, the crazy time where either nothing happens or it just goes crazy. Restaurants have a weird hour, a couple of hours, 4 till 6. If it's a casual dining restaurant, it's we're dead. You can hear
Yeah.
people walking, nothing. So I guess if someone wants to do that and try to get early, I don't know, pre-theatre, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to meta, it's you won't sort of switch on an ad campaign and see people coming in. If you're looking at Google search, that could happen because you've got intent. The sort of approach that I would recommend in our training programs, if anyone's interested, we've got to do a...
That's coming up. Shh. I've got it here. It's on A, B, and C.
Well, the video view ads are really, really cost effective.
Yes.
So we would target our video view ads at 0.02p per through view.
Yeah.
And that's a 30-second video. So I would start there. I'd make sure that you've got a really catchy first millisecond.
Yeah.
Capture that attention.
And then grab them.
Yeah, and make sure that you've got a good call to action at the end. You know, the sort of standard stuff. And then create those audiences. So with your video view ad campaigns, you've got people who have watched your video all the way through to the end. That you've got as a separate little audience there. People that know your brand, that like it enough to watch it all the way to the end. You can then send them a more expensive conversion ad to book.
Yeah.
I also really think it's a good idea to think about partnerships. So partnerships are a huge part of our training. The really tough thing at the moment is to get seen organically on any of the platforms.
Yeah.
Even TikTok now. I mean, it's still possible to go crazy viral, but it's still a slog.
Yeah.
So partnerships are a really great way of kind of both leveraging different audience sets and getting seen by a few more eyes, and especially if you've got something like a specific offer, like a pre-theatre offer.
Yeah.
Partnerships are again a really good way of kind of hammering home that message. So what's a tie-in? What's a good kind of visual match up to that offer that can kind of quite quickly demonstrate that it's the theatre offer? And don't wait too long. Always try and plan things. You know, if you think, oh, let's put an offer on now for tomorrow, it's probably not going to be a good use of money.
Yeah.
It's like, do a lead up, think about a campaign in a month's time, do a little promotion for that and get people warmed up.
Like drip feed it.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
I think it's all about as many touch points as you can get across as many different locations as possible. So social, email, search, website, A-boards, posters, partners.
Have a plan, basically, if you're going to do it, right?
Have a plan and get it out in as many different places as much as you can for your budget.
Nice. Question for you. So on my little digital hospitality thing, there's a big focus on everyone has a smartphone. Your smartphone is a camera. Your camera is pretty good. What's your thoughts on if your brand doesn't have time to go get an agency for TikTok and video editing and so on? What's your thought on, I guess, smaller brands, maybe like 1 to 3, whatever it is, or chef owner operator to just take their phone out and record and maybe stick in CapCut if they want to. But that content, I love that content. I'm like all in, and I don't think enough people do it. Like my local Italian, he's hilarious. He's Italian chef owner operator, and he'll do a little video and he'll do like a little pasta thing, and he'll go done at the end, and it doesn't get that many views, but he's doing content.
Yeah.
And it's out there. What's your thought? What's your advice for people who because, okay, in America, everyone does it. They have no problem here. And they're the ones that are pushing me to sort of do these guys, because they're like, you got to get a camera out and you got to just do it, do it and push it because, don't stop. And the British thing is, we don't like to make a fool of ourselves and, and so on. So you've got an agency doing it, or you've got someone young doing it. What's your advice for restaurants who just want to do a bit UGC?
Oh, 100% go for it.
Yeah, me too.
There's no reason not to. I mean, I've got quite a lot to say in terms of social media content and dreams, like the utopia of content, because I think what you sort of straddle this thing, right, where the social platforms, you can be very homemade, you can be this stripped back content, but with food, it doesn't always work that well, and especially when you've got a certain brand identity, it does take quite a bit to get good quality pictures of your food.
Yes.
But where you don't have that same weight of pressure is around your team and your atmosphere, your energy, your
It doesn't really matter showing. You don't, if you can show how everyone's having fun, show the kitchen having a laugh. People will see that and go. And also because it's UGC, so that tees on to everyone's terrified of TikTok. I think I need to buy that domain name. Everyone's terrified of TikTok, but they're terrified of just turning TikTok on and uploading. I mean, it's just I find it's difficult because people are just it's the barrier. So would you suggest just get your camera out, set up an account, put frickin' logo on, and just start recording?
I mean, yes and no. Honestly, I can't. How many 100,000 listeners that you've got?
Yeah.
Some of them won't be great on camera. Some of them won't make good content, but they might be incredible chefs and incredible food.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a blanket yes thing. I think it's a blanket yes be on TikTok if you want to be.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is that all this stuff is not be all and end all. Do everything you possibly can and run yourself ragged when you're like solo business owner.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that TikTok isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
It is being used as a search engine.
Yeah.
People who are coming to England, London, Brighton, wherever on holiday, they are searching for places to eat in those areas.
Correct.
You know, wherever, Birmingham, whoever, wherever. And so if you're not on there, you won't be seen by that audience. So then you ask yourself the question of where do you want to be found? And then you ask the question of where do I put my energy? Yeah. Because you can build your own platform. That's definitely a good idea. You can lean on other creators. That's definitely a good idea. So yeah, it's a really tough one to blanket answer. Yeah. Because I do think you're a bit of you are missing something if you don't think about being on TikTok. But I totally understand and respect people that decide not to and focus their energy on other directions, like Google search. Yeah. But I really do believe that Google's not going to be the behemoth
I'm sort of
that
waiting.
It is forever. That's such a ridiculous thing to say.
I think the very interesting piece, because I heard on a podcast recently, a little while ago, was Google are terrified of putting AI into search because of everything that's in it, right? So you can there's so many results on there. So you've got Google Bard, which is amazing, great AI tool, a bit like ChatGPT. There's loads of Google amazing AI stuff, but the searches still stayed there because they make so much money on the ads and on that ad spend. So they're very nervous to turn on the AI feature into Google to start doing it, because then you end up sort of like, when someone searches for something, it will probably find other stuff rather than those 5 or 6 ads. So it's very interesting on that side.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we were just at Brighton SEO for 2 days last month. We were actually filming for them and made 100 pieces of content from the 2-day shoot. We're still jumping through the last half of that. But anyway, it's really interesting. SEO is a huge thing. Yeah. It's more and more challenging.
And it's getting harder. It used to be fairly easy. It's getting harder. Right? Now it's getting even harder.
But it's all around useful content these days. And it's all around making your content as educational and informative as you can. And your unique knowledge, your expertise is super, super valuable. Now, I don't know about how AIs are really built and programmed, but obviously, I mean, Google's going to be using their AI. Actually, I don't know if I can even go down that road. You'll have to edit that little bit out. Hopefully, I end on a good sentence. What did I say? Oh yeah, it was all about useful content, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think possibly I ended on an okay sentence.
You did end on an okay sentence. I can cut it at the useful content, or I can. I'm a big believer in just letting it go.
Yeah, maybe sometimes
you know what,
I can't even.
You go down the rabbit hole, you know.
I can't even think about Google's use of AI because that is just to be honest, way above my pay grade.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay, so I'm going to move on to. I want to know more about the tracking reservations things you've built, because I think everyone needs to hear that. So you can touch on that. And then TikTok I've already talked about. So that's my next one. And then the last one is the training, which I want to hear about too. But we spoke previously about the tracking and the stuff that you've built, because no one else is doing it. One thing, and we're building a bit of tech to help with it, but I love what you're doing because you've actually found a way of pulling out. Well, it's one platform so far, right?
Yes.
Talk to me.
So this is
Tell
again,
the people.
Yeah. So this is again what I should have said about various eateries as to why this is such a standout case study for us, because we were able to implement the tracking solution that we've got with various eateries across all sites, and give them much clearer visibility on what's driving bookings. Now, in recent days, there's been cookie depreciation happening across the board for the last few years, but Google haven't. Google are still using cookies.
They're still holding on.
They're holding on. They were going to be stopping them, and they're actually delaying the full turn off until next year, because so many brands and agencies have actually, it's become clear that they weren't actually ready for it, which, we had a GDPR expert, Lisa Chittenden, on the panel that we ran the other week. She was actually part of the team that put forward the GDPR legislation. So she knows her shit.
Yeah.
And, there's lots of people, lots of brands, lots of business out there that haven't been reporting consent back to Google efficiently and correctly.
Yes.
And that's the Google have actually seen that, and they're like, right, look, we're going to hold off.
Yeah,
it's going to happen, but it is going to happen. Right? So this is so interesting for us as Trapeze Media in our focus on giving restaurants clearer visibility on where their bookings are coming from. We're not going to be able to do anything about the fact that we can't track all of those opt-ins, but we can tell you much, much more about where those bookings have come from. We integrate with Res Diary. Yeah. So various eateries is with Res Diary. So we can set this up with anybody that's using Res Diary. Platform. Yeah. And we're speaking to the other platforms as well. And yeah, it's just, it's.
So you're pulling in one, where it's come from.
Yeah.
And then are you able to see the flow of the transaction to which no one else knows except for the platforms?
Yes, and we can track calls. So if you're a restaurant that takes more telephone call bookings, then we can track them through as well. Yeah. So to me, it's funny because it's like, I couldn't believe how little visibility restaurants were getting on this sort of thing. Everything taken into account, in terms of consent, and where that cookie drops or doesn't drop, etc. So it's not. And then you've got
the journey on the reservation, or when they've clicked the link on Google to get to the website, or they've clicked a call. Because I think the weird thing is, and it's always happened, reservation sits here and marketing sits here, and they sort of sit siloed. So with our little touch on my platform, we sync into reservations and into marketing. So both people get the data. But I think Res misses out because they don't get the marketing team or media team to say, here's a report, by the way, there's how many people clicked a call, because they won't have access. They won't really look at the Google, because the marketing team will look at the Google Google business stats. But you can pull out the data to marry that together and give them a really nice report of this many people clicked a call. Don't forget about your phone system, because they may not even got to you. But you can see the click to call, you can see the click to visit, and then the tracking. And then can you see when they've dropped, like within the journey of booking, when they dropped off as well or not? Or is that a bit of a challenge still?
Okay, so like, not to go in the thing, this is like, it's a really complicated, it's a really weird one to answer in this much detail on this podcast, to be honest. Because the cookie piece is crucial. And I kind of don't really want to go on like a recording right now saying
cookie.
Well, no, also because it's like, it's all dependent on where you get the opt-in.
Yeah.
And so yes, but no, because it will drop off. So it's really, I mean, maybe this is how I can answer it. It's like, it's do you know what? It's not 100%, it's not clear cut, but nothing is.
No.
Nothing is now. In this current time, we need to be looking at mixed model data. And doing really, really good analytics and reporting, which is what we can provide.
Nice.
So in terms of
we're giving both sides, basically. So you get the marketing and res and ops.
That's it.
That nice rounded, which most people don't do, because you go to marketing people and they go, I'll do some TikTok videos and I'll do some reporting on this.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is actually, we speak to the operator, GMs and so on, to see what's happening on the floor. We speak to res to see what's happening with res. We speak to marketing, and then we put it all together into a nice big report, which is a bit game-changing for me, because it's the first time I've ever heard of it. I don't know anyone else does that.
Great,
So boom for you.
Good.
Hold
I mean,
on.
that's what I've been thinking of.
Wait. I have to do. That's what she gets. She gets that. So there you go. Go on.
Nice.
You were thinking.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep hearing, and that's why I've spent the last couple of years really trying to find a solution.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that wasn't it's not been a wasted effort, that this is actually something people need. And the thing is that all these changes with tracking, it's a huge change and shift for online brands, online agencies, everything. So the sooner brands can get a bit more on top of where bookings are coming from, the better. And a little bit more openness from booking platforms would be great.
Yeah.
But we'll get there, and it's each step as it comes.
Yeah, step at a time.
Yeah.
We have talked about our new little product that's coming. Called Table Ready, and it's alpha version's nearly ready, and we are tracking all those pieces. So I'm excited to show you, but I won't talk about it now. One of the last things I want to talk about, which is really, really interesting, is the training, because I know you were sort of like, I want to talk about it. Yeah, and I stopped you. So training, talk to me, because you've done some panels, you've done some training, you go in to do training, because there are some big brands as well that think they know what they're doing, and then you come in and things change. So where's the variation of training, and also the panels and talks that you do?
Yeah, well, we've got a training program. There's a few foodie puns, so
Love
strap
that.
in. It's the 3-course training called Eat to Your Marketing.
Nice.
Engagement, awareness, trust, and that is the kind of the 3 ingredients that I think you need to do and deliver good and great marketing for any brand. And it was launched because a lot of social media will be taken in-house, which is totally understandable. A lot of the time it will be given to quite a junior member of the team, which is also quite understandable. They're social natives. They get it. They're fast. They've got good ideas. They're fun. They're in amongst the weeds. They can project what's actually happening, etc., etc. But that understanding, that deeper kind of meaning behind posting on social.
Okay, I'm back. Camera's back on. This camera's on. This is episode 5, and we still have technology challenges. I'm so sorry. You were talking about training. You were talking about...
it's usually the sort of more junior people that get given the social media roles. But yeah, the understanding of what that actually means. Like, you put up a funny video, well, why? What are we actually trying to aim for? And also, a lot of people can get swept up in all of the hysteria or the rhetoric that social media doesn't result in bookings and sales and bums on seats.
Yeah.
When it does, it's like, for me, it's so
It's
obvious. I just hate the conversation.
Yeah.
You just have to do it well. So that's why I've got the training. So brands can bring us in.
Do you end up getting the social media people in or do you just get marketing managers, or is it a mixed bag of people come in?
It's a mixed bag. So sometimes we'll deliver it to 50 different restaurants in one city.
Nice.
So we work with business improvement districts, and whoever from that city can send whoever they want in. It works really well because they then provide a service to their levy payers, and everyone leaves happy. We did a really nice one in Blackpool. For like 50 hotels and sort of leisure and tourism events. So the engagement piece is usually around how to reach more audiences local to your business.
Yeah.
The awareness is usually around paid media. So then you've got a little bit more of an understanding of marketing. So we'll do paid media across social or TikTok. And the trust is around how to evoke loyalty from your online activity in the same way as you would do in person, bringing your customer service online and creating and demonstrating and building more trust from what you do online.
So that's amazing. So where can they find the information about the training? You can go and do a little shout out.
On trapezemedia.co.uk.
Amazing. / No, it's not on.
Actually, you could do /eat.
There you go. Awesome.
I think.
I'll put it in the show notes as well. That's really interesting because I think training's really important always. Even if you know what you're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing. We're in tech. We always have training. Our team are kinesthetic learners. So I think if someone comes to you and you're in that and you can do like role plays and stuff and show them understand how it works, I think it's important. Amazing. So we're at the end. So I'm going to do a little. There you go. Thank you for dealing with my technology challenges because, again, camera went off.
Anytime.
And this camera's sort of on, so that's good. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'll put it all in the show notes. We have a tradition, and the tradition, you can unlock your iPad to get your notes, is 2 questions for the next guest. Did I ask you to do that?
Yeah, you didn't. I
don't think I asked you to do
you
that.
would ask me, but
Yeah, I forgot to put that in the notes.
you didn't actually ask me. So
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Why don't I ask? Do you know who's going to be the next guest?
I've got like 3 or 4 coming in. So
Because I'll think of something relevant.
no, anything. It doesn't have to be.
All right, okay, fine. What's their favourite account on whatever is their favourite social media platform at the moment?
Nice.
Or what draws them in to keep scrolling?
Yeah.
What do they love on their on those platforms?
And which
what's
platform?
The best and which platform? And what's the best campaign they've been part of that's made the most difference for a brand that they've worked with?
Yeah. Yeah,
How
'cause
about
that? Yeah, that's great. It might be technology, but everyone does marketing. It's a whole media.
Yeah, and
media
they might
things
be like,
across the
oh,
board.
well, we released this new feature.
Yeah.
And actually it was a massive,
Engagement was
everybody
amazing.
wanted it, and we saw an
Don't
uptick.
talk tech. Don't talk. That's what I
Come
talk
on.
tech. Don't
Come
throw.
on.
Don't throw tech in there. But
Come
thank you very
on.
much. Thank you very much, Kitty from Trapeze Media. I'll put it all in the show notes. I'm going to do some more. Thank you.
Thank you.